Guys, the selling is back. Today was not good at all. We had the Russell go down 2.8% on the day. We had the Nasdaq down 1.7. The S&P went down 1.8 as the Dow Jones did not do as bad, but still it went down 1.4% as the VIX went up 8.5%. So in this video, we're going to break down the markets. We're going to talk charts. We're going to break down some stocks and go over what I'm doing. So sit back, relax, take a sip of your water, guys. And of course, I'm drinking it out of a tall beer glass. You guys can see that. Yeah, that's how we do it over here on the channel, guys. So let's just dive into it. Again, it was a rocky day out there, and we can see we sold off all across the board. VIX was up. And in terms of SPY, let's start off here with SPY, which tracks the S&P 500. This is selling off towards the 180 SMA on the 4-hour chart. You guys can see that. And this is zoomed in, but you know we need to zoom in to really get to get a better picture of it, right? And if we zoom out a bit, obviously, like we've discussed in the previous couple of videos, the bears are still in charge if we just look at this downtrend that I just drew. But if we get rid of that and we zoom in a little bit and just look at what's been going on in the past couple of weeks, right, we're noticing, okay, the bulls are still holding trend here. And really, this is the last straw for the bulls. I'm not going to lie. This is right here, the last straw for the bulls. If they fail at 390 on SPY, 395, and we go back to the 380s, it could start slipping very quickly, especially as the VIX now is, I'm not going to say it bottomed, but it is towards 20, which is the lower end of the range from the past year. If this gives at 390, 385, 380 especially, man, it is going to be ugly. That's all I'm saying. So keep your mind on that. Keep your eyes on that and realize that 390 is very critical for the bulls. 395, 400. I mean, these are big levels that the bulls are going to need to hold. And honestly, we're going to need to see a lot of momentum from here and towards probably around, I'd say, 430 for this rally to be more than just a bear market rally, because right now that's what it is. It's a bear market rally. That's what the technicals show, and that's kind of what history's shown us. There's been a lot of bear market rallies throughout bear markets, and I've talked about that time and time again on Patreon, on the YouTube channel, right? And pulling up Triple Q is the same thing. On the 4-hour chart, clearly we're still in a downtrend, but if we just forget about that for a second and zoom in a little bit, sure, bulls are fighting in the short term, right around the 180 SMA, but if Triple Q fails at this 180 SMA, it breaks 280, breaks 278, we're going to start seeing the collapse of Triple Q probably, and this maybe from that point it'll start going towards the lows, maybe start going towards 260s again, and we'll see. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but we'll see, guys. It's at a point where it's do or die for the bulls pretty much, right? Let's see how it ends up playing out throughout the course of this week and, the next couple of weeks. Are we going to get the bulls to push through? Maybe we get the Santa Claus rally, or was what we just had the Santa Claus rally? And by what we just had, I mean the rally leading up till, up until now. I mean, you guys got to realize the markets have rallied a good amount. I mean, if you look here on Triple Q, it bottomed at 254 back in the middle of October, and now it's pretty much up. And there goes Siri talking on the watch. She hasn't done that in a while. We can see it's up about 15% from the middle of October. Could that have already been the Santa Claus rally? Even though I guess technically, it was in October, November mostly, but you guys know what I mean, right? Could that have been it? SPY went from 348 to now where it's at 400. It's up 15%. Is that it, or is there going to be more? I mean, what do you guys think? I feel like it's at a vulnerable spot. So what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, I'd love to know. Seriously, I mean, these markets are insane. So yeah, now let's talk about some stocks. And actually, before we do that, if you haven't gotten your free stocks from Moomoo yet with my link down below, or just going to stocksarefast.com/Moomoo, you got to do that. You get up to 15 stocks, each up to $2,000 with at least a $100 deposit. And you could also get 12 stocks from Webull with any amount deposited. Again, all those are linked down below, or you can go to stocksarefast.com/Moomoo and stocksarefast.com/Webull. So with that being said, and by the way, all those links down below help out the channel. I appreciate you guys as always. So with that being said, let's just dive into some stocks. What I'm looking at here, some movers, some stocks that maybe you guys haven't seen. Well, you've definitely seen these before, obviously, but maybe you haven't paid attention to them. The airlines. Have you guys been seeing the airlines lately? They're starting to look pretty decent, especially here, DAL, Delta Airlines. Let's pull this up. We have an ascending triangle forming on this, first of all, and you all can see it here on the 4-hour chart, and it's starting to creep out. In fact, today, I think, or was that last week? Either way, no, that was today, this morning. Delta Airlines was at almost $37 a share, guys. It bounced like crazy, or it started ripping in the morning, and then we started pulling back, and we pretty much held flat at 35, 75, 36-ish for the rest of the day, for pretty much the latter half of the day. But again, you can see, going back to that 4-hour, the ascending triangle's playing out. We're at a multi-month high right now for Delta, and it's pretty much trading in this wide open window. Well, not yet, but it could potentially be trading up towards $40, maybe high 30s, low 40s even. I mean, this is where it could be going. So I like the way Delta Airlines is setting up for sure right now. It's definitely on the top of my watch list, hence why I'm covering it right now in the video, guys. So I'm going to set my alert at $36. Mark is at or above create, and then we'll see what it does at that point, as it did close just a hair under $36 a share. So I really like Delta. And another airline here, it's not as good technically, looking at the charts, as Delta, but I'm looking at these two, which is LUV. Actually, no, this is not it. This chart looks like crap. What is this? LU? Yeah, I don't know what that is. It's a penny stock. Avoid that. LUV is Southwest, which is also, it's been reversing, but now it's at a point that, there's some big resistance coming up. It's not like Delta where it's at multi-month highs already. This is fighting to get to multi-month highs, which we're going to be seeing resistance at about $40, $41, pretty much right where we are right now. So if LUV could start running past this $40 mark, 41, I'm just going to put my alert right now at $41 a share. If we start to see some momentum out of there, this could really start to take off, maybe towards mid 40s, 48, $50. And from what I remember, guys, and I haven't done analysis into the airline stocks in a while, but from what I remember when I looked into them like a year and a half, 2 years ago, Southwest was the best one in terms of, financials. I mean, things could have changed from that point, but that's what I remember. And, if in that case, this would be probably, not for sure because you have to do your own research, obviously, but maybe for the long term, this is a really good one. It could be the best one. I don't know for sure. But as a trade in the short term, I'm leaning more towards DAL, but LUV looks decent as well. If it starts to break out of that 41 mark, which from there, again, it could start going to the mid 40s, maybe even higher. So Southwest Airlines, I'm watching that. Another one is United Airlines, ticker symbol UAL. This is one that is starting to now break to multi-month highs, which this one probably looks even better than LUV. Not as good as DAL, but pretty dang good, I'd say. So we're seeing the ascending triangle slowly starting to break out. It's not fully there. We kind of had a little pump fake today. It ran up over 45, 50. Then it closed a little bit under that. So if we're able to retake that point, which I'll set my alert right now at, let's put it at $47. If we're able to get out of that point, mark is at we're above 47. Let's take a look at that. Maybe a little bit under that. Let's put it at 45, maybe 75 roughly. If we're able to get out of there, guys, there could be movement up to 49-ish from that point. And then after that, if that's able to break, we breach $50. We could start moving up towards 42, maybe even higher, or 52 rather, maybe even higher than that. So, yeah, UAL, these airlines, I know they're kind of boring, I'm not going to lie, which is why I don't talk too much about them on the channel, but they're ones worth watching, especially especially in the short term here, as they've actually been doing pretty well. A lot of these airlines are up. We're talking 50% up move here for UAL pretty much. It's up from $30 to $45. We're talking LUV has been up a good roughly, let's see here, 30%. Yeah, 32%. These stocks have been ripping in the past couple of months. Let's see if this momentum continues. We have DAL up from 27 to now 35. It is up 32%. So, yeah, my alerts are set. I'm watching these airlines, and I'm also watching the large cap giant Microsoft, ticker symbol MSFT, which I talked about recently, and I want to cover it again today because it actually didn't do that bad, considering we had the NASDAQ, collapse, the Russell, obviously, the Dow didn't do well. Microsoft had held up the best, well, not the best out of any stock out there, but compared to the indexes, it did very well. It only went down 1.8% or 1.18% on the day, which in the grand scheme of things, I mean, long term, what happens intraday doesn't matter. But, if we're looking at the very short term, that shows strength in the stock. And we're noticing here on the chart, what do we have? An inverse head and shoulders, right? We have the left shoulder right here, head, right shoulder. We have a golden cross. We're above both moving averages. So in my eyes, Microsoft is playing between, obviously 250, and especially if it breaks 260, I mean, that'd be great. But it's currently in between 250 to about 270, right? That's the window that it's trading between. So in my eyes, if this thing takes out 255, which happens to be the high not only from today, but also from last week, there's going to be that, that right shoulder is going to complete, right? It's going to go up probably to about 268, 70. That'd be about a 5% move. That's where I could see this, going. It's not for sure going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Obviously, guys, I'm not a fortune teller, but, that's kind of what I'm looking at. Microsoft, 255 to 270, that's a playable gap right there. And if that were to break 270, even higher, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So that's Microsoft. Let's do a quick little rundown on Tesla, which, man, this gave back pretty much all the gains from last week. You guys can see Tesla went down 6.4% on the day today. And if I zoom in a little bit, what we're noticing is, well, we gave back, like I said, all the gains from, particularly this day right here where Tesla went from, this was on the 30th, I believe. Yeah, 30th of November. It went from 180 to about 195 in a day. Well, now it's back to 180. It's giving back all those gains. So in the very short term, if we're just looking at the technicals here on Tesla, right, and you guys could probably draw it out and see it for yourselves before I even say it, we have an inverse head and shoulders. You guys see that, right? Look at that. So what I'm going to show you guys now is the neckline of that inverse head and shoulders, which is right around 180, 82, 178, right around there. If Tesla breaks, what I'm trying to get at here is if Tesla breaks this neckline at 178, where I'll put my alert right now, it's bad news bears. Well, I guess bad news bulls in this case, because Tesla's going to end up collapsing at that point, probably down to 165. That'd be the next target, which you guys can see that was the low from more towards the end of November. Then if 165 were to break, well, we're probably going to start getting to that target that I mentioned a couple weeks ago, which since that point, Tesla did run. You guys can see Tesla ran a little, well, it wasn't a couple weeks ago. When was that? About 2 weeks ago, we talked about it. I think Tesla could go under 150. Then it rallied up to about 195. It saw a bit of a relief rally. Now we're starting to get back down. We're starting to get hammered down again. If this breaks 180 to 165, we break 165, that's when we're probably going to my target, which is around 150. And probably, no, I don't want to say probably, but who knows? It could be going even lower than that. So that's a quick little rundown on Tesla. Let me actually get a sip of water, guys. If you're finding value in the video, hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe as well. I appreciate you guys as always. So, that's nice. Let's see. Best Buy is another one that you guys probably remember. They reported earnings, I think, not last week, but maybe the week before last week. Yeah, they reported earnings on the 22nd. Yeah, so not last week, the week before last week. And this is starting to lose gas right now. I'm not going to lie. It went down 2.6% today. So this is one that is clearly at a resistance right now at about $85. That's where it failed back in the end of May. Also middle of August. Also right now, so far it's failing at about 85 now in the beginning of December. So if we really do fail, meaning we start dumping at, towards the low 80s, we break 80, who knows? I mean, that could happen. But if we start breaking, let's say 83, 82, we're probably coming down to 79.80, which is right by that 50 SMA, which is right here on the 4-hour chart. You guys can see that, right? I'm going to outline it so you guys can see it. This is where we could be coming to at that point, right? And then if this were to break, who knows? Maybe from that point, 70, 75, but we're not there yet. So I think Best Buy is not fully collapsing, but if we're able to get it here at 80, 82, that'd be a decent, in my eyes, a decent dip buy, considering, if we draw this out right here, you guys can see, this was resistance back in July, also through August, early September, right? That'd be where I think bulls would come in. It'd be oversold at that point. So I'm watching this between, in other words, 78, 80 to about 85, this window that it's trading within. I'm personally liking it here on Best Buy. So let's see what else is going on here in the markets. I mean, like I said, everything was red today. It was a bloodbath, except for a couple stocks were green, but really, it was, nothing to write home about, right? No crazy stocks out there. Let's see. Visa's one that I want to look at quickly. Yeah, Visa's one that is looking pretty good right now, and it's also trading in a tight window. Look at this. Did we not call this out? First of all, not to toot my own horn, but did we not call this out? This ascending triangle right here, and it broke out. We ended up going to about 220. Now we're pulling back. We're at 213. We're about to test the 50 moving average here, which, honestly, this is where buyers might be coming in again, right around 211, 12, 13. And at that point, we might be getting a short-term pop, short-term bounce back to test that 218, 220 level. Then if that were to break, if 220 were to break, who knows? Maybe 228 would be next here on Visa, like I've talked about time and time again on the YouTube channel. That is a point that I'm looking at here on Visa. So let's see Mastercard. I actually haven't looked at Mastercard in a while. Ticker symbol MA. Yeah, this one pretty much played out to a T again. Not to toot my own horn. Another one that we called out. The inverse head and shoulders played out. Now, honestly, guys, I wouldn't force Mastercard at these levels. I think, if anything, it could be selling off from this point. But who knows? I mean, if we do plow through 365, which I'll put my alert there right now, this could end up pushing even more, maybe towards 375, 380. This is where, it could be going. We shall see, guys, where now that I'm looking at it, I do have another alert at $382 bucks a share. So, honestly, guys, that's pretty much it for the video. I mean, we don't have much more to talk about. Really, the markets, they're just freaking out a little bit. They're getting shaken up right now because of course, the Fed, inflation. Well, not really inflation, but kind of how the Fed's going to react now that the jobs report came in better than expected. They're going to raise rates more now. There's just uncertainty, and the market hates uncertainty, like we've been saying on the channel for years at this point. So if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Make sure to also get your free money from Moomoo, from Weeble. Check out my Patreon if you guys want all my real-time, call-outs, morning update videos, kind of what I'm looking at, stocks I'm looking at throughout the day. That is on Patreon, link down below, or you guys can go to stocksurfest.com/Patreon. And with that being said, I'll catch you in the next video, guys. Peace out.